What's up YouTube? This is Bangalore Productions. I know it's been a while since I made a video. Been working on some things. Holidays are coming up. Got a whole lot of stuff. Working on getting out of the Marine Corps currently. So I've been really busy. But I wanted to take the time to make this video real quick. Just some stuff that I've been kind of working on with my kit. And so without further ado, let's get into it. So I've talked a lot about different rig setups. All the different kinds you can have: belt rigs, split rigs, micro rigs, plate carriers, everything. And over the past couple months, with my own training, my own way of doing things, I've slowly, obviously, left the belt kit. I'm no longer a proponent of that. They have their use case, but for me in particular, I don't think they necessarily apply. And I've tried my hand at micro rigs, and while I do find them useful for range use and for more clandestine type surveillance type stuff, they're not necessarily suited for what we as civilians might encounter in a plethora of situations that could happen, right? And at the end of the day, we're just training, we're having a good time with our buds and shooting and just getting better every day. So with that in mind, I've been working on this rig for a little bit. It's got a little bit of use, not much, but if you haven't seen, the rifle has had some updates to it. Nothing major, just got a top dot mounted on my LPVO for those closer engagements, and I got a new sling, and I think that's it since my last video. But yep, still rocking the same rifle, working on getting a suppressor, and then this rifle will be finished once I have the suppressor. So getting into the rig, the base of the rig is the Spiritus Thing 3. Now I have the Spiritus Mark IV, or Mark V placard with the temp, their new like elastic mag pouches on the front. So that lets me carry 6 rifle mags right here, excuse me. On my rightmost two, I have the Pangolin flaps to secure these 4 mags over here. So they are 100% secure, they're not going anywhere. Then flanking that on the right side, I have the Spiritus TKO pouch with a flashbang in it. That could be a smoke, thermobaric, whatever I need to carry. I can carry that right here. On the left side of the placard, I just have shot corded on a tourniquet. And underneath, inside of the Thing 3, I have the Spiritus Systems, I believe it's called the Brunch Box. And in the front zipper, spare batteries, lighter, some duct tape, and that is what I have in there. And then on the actual inside of the main compartment, this is my pretty much solely dedicated to navigation. I have my navigation little book in here with maps, protractor, map pins, all of that is in here. Headlamp, and then my compass dummy cord to the inside. So this is essentially my navigation pouch. I believe that on your rig, navigation should be on your rig. I don't think it should be in your pack. I do think even if you're running a micro rig, if you have a spot for your compass, protractor, and some map pins and a little notepad, you should probably put that on your rig so it's easy to get to as you're navigating through wherever, right? Now coming up top above the placard, I have the unobtainium gear, their EUD bridge. I obviously don't run ATAC or any of that kind of stuff, so I just put a little pouch that I had. I believe this is a Faro, their little tiny GP pouch. I put that up here, and it holds my multi-tool and my ear probe. I'm running foamies right now. Sadly, the Peltors were not mine. Those are property of the government, and I had to turn those in when I turned in the rest of my SIF issue. So moving on, behind that, they have a built-in zipper pouch on their EUD bridge, and that is where I keep my note-taking gear and my pencil dummy corded to that note-taking gear. And that just all lives up here, right up front, where it's easy to get to, and it's not inside of any other pouches, you know, flopping around. It's right there where I can access it really quick, right? So if I'm not wearing trousers with pockets, or like I have a hoodie on right now, I don't have pockets, I can't, you know, store anything. It's just right there, ready to go. And if I do move it to a blouse pocket or a cargo pocket, I can do that. and then, but it lives in the rig until I have it on with whatever uniform I'm utilizing for whatever I'm doing. Anyway, moving on. On my right side, I have a DZ Crossfire, not the DZ, like the mag pouch, whatever, they're sweet. I have one of their triple mag pouches, and that is for my IFAC. So I got my IFAC in here, signified by the red tape on the exterior of the pull tab. And then right behind that, I have a Carcajou. They're 9x3, and that houses my 1 liter Nalgene, and then the cup for it as well. You can see it's a little difficult to get to, but obviously in the heat of the moment, I'm not going to be drinking water. You know, that's going to be more of a stationary admin pause, or just any administrative tasks. Sitting in a security position, whatever, I can access my water. It's not meant for on the fly, right? Obviously we know this. Moving on to the left side, same exact pouch. It's got 3 magazines in it. So that bumps up my total round count from 6 to 9 magazines. And then behind that, I have another Carcajou 9x3. On the front, I have mollied on a tiny little M4 elastic pouch to hold my Baofeng. Now, myself and my guys, we don't always run radios because, you know, most of the time we're probably pretty close together, and there's not necessarily a need for longer communication when we're together. But I do like to have a radio either on my kit or in my bag that I can utilize to scan for other communication devices. But one thing I like to push with radios is that if you are operating in small teams, if you do have those radios, all that's going to do is just produce a signal. Same thing with a cell phone. It's just going to produce a signal that can be found, and then that leads to you getting spotted, and in case you take contact or whatever that may be, it could have been prevented if you either just didn't have the radio on you because you're operating so close together anyway, you won't need it. It's just how you want to operate within your teams. Directly behind that, the Carcajou pouches have built-in little small sleeves around the exterior of the pouch. I just have my Mora knife dummy corded. This isn't necessarily for a fighting knife. In a pinch it could be, but it is more like my bushcrafting knife, and I just prefer to have it on my kit so it's always there. I know where it is, and it's dummy corded in, so I'll never lose it. Then on the inside of this pouch, I use this for my PVS-14. It stays in there with the J-arm already mounted, so I have my Kevlar on, and I can just mount it right in, and I'm ready to go. I also have some dummy cord up here that I can lash onto the device. In the event I bump my head, I do not lose it. So that lives in the Carcajou pouch, and I prefer to keep my nods on my kit if I can, if I have the room for it, so I don't have to go digging through a pack to try to find them or what have you. You know, like they're just always right there. I know where they're at. They're on my sides. They're not necessarily in a place that's going to get a lot of bumping into. I'm not necessarily going to be running in, like bumping into the side of walls. So they're on my side, my arm's over them. I can just passively check just by holding my arm down on the pouch like this, make sure they're still there, and I can grab it as well. So that is, for the most part, that is the rig. This is what I have determined for myself is going to be the best for myself. Now for you, maybe different. And one thing I want to talk about real quick is the difference between, or the pros and cons to using a roadie style rig like this opposed to a split rig, right? So with that split rig, what are we losing? We're losing our capability to carry pouches up here, and we're losing the middle pouch, and we're also losing a midline dangler. Now with a lot of split rigs nowadays, they do have the Velcro on the inside, so you can run danglers, but it's not going to be like centerline like this. It's going to be pushed off to your side, which, as you can see, this doesn't impede my legs, but with a dangler off to the side, that could be an issue I might run into. Also, with a split rig, you're fighting for space for magazines and for administrative gear. With this, I'm not. I have all my mags, my primary mags right here, and I have my secondary mags right here on my side. The rest of all of this is general purpose space. Now with most split rigs nowadays, they have, essentially they're just 2 placards buckled together, so they have inserts built in for magazines, but now that's only 6 mags, and I have to fight for space, like I said, for general purpose water and sustainment gear with magazines. Now that can be combated in a lot of ways. There's plenty of ways to do it. I'm actually currently working on building what I would call a micro split rig, and I'll make a video on that soon once I get everything that I need. And that's probably going to be more of my summertime extreme hot weather rig, because it's split down the center, and it's more of what I call a micro because it only takes up the space of 2 magazines per side. So I only have 4 columns of moly. So it's going to be very close to the front and then also split down the center. So I'll have lots of airflow on my sides and on my front, right? And then this will be essentially my every do-it-all rig, because as you can see, it can carry a lot of stuff. And relatively, only 2 of the mags in here are full. The other 7 are empty. And so it's not exactly weighted for what it would be operationally, but when I get to it, at 7 extra pounds of ammo that I have to take into consideration, that's gonna be taking up weight on this rig. But as it is right now, it's actually a lot lighter than you would expect, and it's realistically not that bad. Like I've seen guys with a lot heavier rigs, especially belt rigs, when they have the huge butt packs, all the sustainment stuff. Now you're looking at, instead of a 15-pound fully loaded chest rig, 20 to 30-pound belt rig. Like I believe for the British military with their belt rigs, when they do their little like belt kit rucks, their weight has to be like 30-ish pounds for their belt rig. Like that's their minimum weight. So this is well below that, and even with the 7 full mags, that's still going to be well below that 30 pounds. And as you can see, my back is fully slick, so that's not going to impede the use of my assault pack that I would pair with this. Now with a ruck, that's where it's going to be kind of iffy, and that's where I prefer more of those micro rigs for if you're using a large ruck. Case being, when you have lots of stuff on your sides, it's hard for those straps. Those straps are going to want to like tuck underneath these, and it's just going to be really uncomfortable because you can't put the straps on top of this and compress all of your gear. But I found with an assault pack, especially with a lighter assault pack, that's not much of an issue you'll come across. And then also with the ruck, the hip belt, with these big pouches hanging off the side, it's going to be kind of hard to get a hip belt buckled in. So that's when I would, if I was using a big ruck, that's whenever I'm going to use that rig that I'm currently working on, because everything is going to be pushed up to the front, and then I'll still be able to split it and get all that airflow when I need it. But this takes the role of pretty much every other situation that I could find myself in. Also, like I said, the back's flat, easily sit down in a vehicle for a long period of time, carry a medium to a larger assault pack just fine. With a ruck, it's gonna be kind of iffy, but it is doable if you have to. Like if you absolutely have to carry a ruck with this, it can be done. But anyway, guys, this is the rig. I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm glad that I have built this out. This fits my needs. Doesn't mean it's gonna fit yours, but you know, that's the whole thing. You just gotta get out there, find what works, and once you do, start building it out, testing it, using it, and then you'll find what actually works for you in the long run. But anyway, guys, I wanna thank you for watching the video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Bangalore Productions, signing off.